It's like a plant being planted in a new soil. Not only will you grow, but you have to sometimes go to where you can grow because we've already maxed out in our current city. I always say do everything possible to increase your numbers before you just move. But if you say, you know what, I just need to move. If you know that you have haters, jealous people, you don't get the support that you need. But the good news is that sometimes you have to go up and beyond where you currently live. And you have to go sometimes to where the money's at. That's what it all boils down to. And I see a lot of people really, truly struggle with this.
Thank you for tuning in to the Beauty Boss Millionaire podcast with Felicia Fracassi. Her mission is to empower you with short, on-the-go business tips and advice to help you successfully start and run your company like a boss. And now, here's your host, Beauty Boss Millionaire, Felicia Fracassi.
Welcome back to Beauty Boss Millionaire. I'm your host, Felicia Fracassi, and the objective of today's episode is really just to explain how I made my millions by being willing to get up and leave my hometown, being able to get up and leave the comfort of my own home and just go to any lengths to really just be successful. This is something that a lot of people really struggle with. And I found out the reason why they struggle with it is because they're in their comfort zone. They're used to the city they're in. They feel like they know everybody. They know the person down at the corner of the bodega. They have this person they know, and they really feel at home. I remember being 16 years old and my mom, we were moving. We went from one city to another. And, I remember going through like these stages. Like at first I was like, oh my God, I felt it was the end of the world. My friends were crying. Everybody was crying. My friend actually at 16 years old, don't judge her. Candace came to the house drunk, crying so bad that her mom drove her over to the house as she was inebriated to say goodbye to me for the 25th time. That was my best friend from like my whole entire life, like since we were little kids. It was just kind of interesting to see, the emotional stuff that I went through, because a lot of times people, they just can't deal. Like it's almost like you're dying. It's like for some people, it's so hard to move because it's like a part of them is dying because they are now truly depending on their own 2 feet and they have to create all those relationships all over again. But something is beautiful about being able to do that. It's like a plant being planted in a new soil. Not only will you grow, but you have to sometimes go to where you can grow, because just like a tree, at first, the roots start off a little bit, but there comes a point in time where that tree root is so long. It means it's already went to the other city. And sometimes with us, we've already maxed out in our current city. And what I mean by that is if you have a business and everyone knows you, they know who you are, they know your brand, and you've kind of been consistent with your numbers and there's nothing you can do. Like I always say, do everything possible to increase your numbers before you just move. But if you say, you know what, I just need to move, especially if one, I hate to say this, but I'm just going to be honest. If you know that you have haters, and I really mean this, and let's break down the definition of haters. If you know you have very jealous people, if you have people that you don't get the support that you need, or people, even Jesus himself, I remember reading in the scripture, he never got the respect in his hometown. They said, what good can come from Nazareth? Meaning that what good can come from, being in that small little town, because they looked down on anyone that was out of that city. But the good news is that sometimes you have to go up and beyond where you currently live. And you have to go sometimes to where the money's at. That's what it all boils down to. And I see a lot of people really, truly struggle with this. I mean, they're so comfortable in their home and they don't even realize it, honestly. In their hometown, there's probably only 20 people that they really love, 20 to less than 100 people. And you can create those relationships, if not more relationships in the next city. So that's something just to keep in mind as you begin to grow your business. Because with me, what I did is I actually maxed out. I already knew I was successful in the city I was in. I just knew I needed to grow. And I never was a person that wanted to just stay local. My business is not a local business. And I knew there was other cities calling for me. And so I just basically one day just said, you know what, I'm going to do it. So what I did is I always like the safe method. I don't think it's wise for people just up and leave. I think it's good to visit a place enough till you feel comfortable like it's home to make the transition easier. But sometimes you do just have to go ahead and just up and move. But make sure you have a plan in place. I've always been one for planning carefully so I don't fail. And even if you make a goal for yourself and say, look, this year, January 2021, or, June 2021, I'm here, but next June, I'd like to be in a different city, set up and running my business. So how that would look is you would literally go on LinkedIn, make those connections, go down to any event, go on I think there's a site, I think it's Eventbrite. They have events going on. You can see what's going on in the city that you want to be in. They also have something called Meetup. I've used that site so many times. Or, sometimes God just placed people in your path that already are in that city. You might meet someone randomly, keep your business cards on you, because I always meet people so random and it ends up being the connection to the next level. So let me say that again. Sometimes God places people in your path that is going to take you to the next level. And anyone that I know in the industry knows what I mean in any industry, because it always is that just random one person that sees the potential in you. You guys have a great connection. They say, hey, meet me here at this time, or let's link up, or come down here. Next thing you know, it's your platform being elevated to the next level. And it's such a beautiful thing, because I truly have been one to believe in divine connection, divine meetings, meaning that godly meetings. I think God always knows how to move you to the right place at the right time. And it's always been one of those things where the way it happens, as long as you put it out there that you'd like to do it, He will always send you help. And you always have to be ready for the opportunity. You almost have to be flexible and have an open mind. I feel like so many people have this set thing that their mind is the way it is because this is my life is the way it is because that's the way it's always been. I started to look into the relationships. Why am I here? I started to ask myself, I love the city, but why am I here? Like what brought me here? Like, you have to ask yourself, why are you here? Is it because your family moved there? Was it your mom? Was it your dad? Was it your grandparents? Why am I in the city that I'm in? And what's preventing me to being able to up and move to the next city? Because honestly, it's probably something really small that you can overcome and get past that fear of moving so you can move on to the next level. That's why if you look at any celebrity or any rapper, there comes a time in their life where their career peaks so much that they have to move to the next level. And that really requires them to just say, you know what? I feel like I've outgrown the city. And it's not a bad thing. It's not something to take from the city, because I still go back to my hometown every now and then. But there's something that calls you on a different level. It's not that you're better than that city. Let's not have that mentality, because there's a lot of great people probably in your city. But it's just that God has elevated you to a different platform and a different level that's going to require you to meet new people to grow in your career. Up next, we're going to be talking on how you have to be willing to go to any lengths to be successful. And I've done that. And that's what helped me make my first and second million. So we're going to talk about that next. And stay tuned, and thanks for tuning in to the Beauty Boss Millionaire.
That's it for today. Tune in tomorrow for the Beauty Boss Millionaire podcast. And don't forget to follow the Beauty Boss Millionaire, Felicia Fracassi, on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at Beauty Boss Millionaire.